Hello, this is Melody Messmer, and this is my assessment of Fairfield, Texas, which is in Freestone County. That is the county courthouse, which kind of sits right in the middle of town. A very old building. Here are some of the mostly empty storefronts across the street. And then traveling down what is the main highway, I think it's Highway 84, goes through town. There's the local feed store. And our only grocery store, which is a Berkshire Brothers. That's a small portion of Section 8 housing, and then we move to where the interstate accessible kind of gas stations, and there's a couple little hotels, that kind of thing right here at this highway entrance to Interstate 45. Fairfield sits in Freestone County, essentially between Dallas and Houston, right off of I-45. They're redoing the infrastructure and exit and on-ramps in this area right now. And just down the road there's a Jeep dealership and a Chevy dealership. Several closed buildings. This was a truck stop that's been closed and abandoned. They now have fenced off because it took a storm hit and it's become unstable. It's a small apartment complex. This is the medical office building, and then on the end is the ambulance building, and then we move over to the hospital, which has like a small 8-bed ER, and I think the hospital only has 20 beds. They really don't do much there. They transfer almost everything out. This is part of the residential area. I wanted to show some of the big differences in housing aspects. This is a local co-op, that building right there, that does offer some local services. But everything from trailers to double-wide modulars. This is one of the many churches. That's actually one of the bigger churches in town. A lot of brick ranch-style houses that are on slab. Pretty large plots throughout town. Some are older and not well kept, and some are kept up really nice.
I wish you joy and happiness, but above all this, I wish you love.
A lot of greenery and shrubs. That's one of the older homes. It's really pretty. And then you can tell some of the ranches, some are kind of falling into disrepair. This is a great big farmhouse that kind of sits right in the middle of town. There is the farm plots behind it. And then down just a few more houses is a cemetery, and then I think on the next block is the nursing home and memory care unit. Things weather very quickly down here and tend to fall apart pretty quickly. You have to do a lot of upkeep on your properties. The heat and the moisture really takes its toll. And that's the skilled nursing and memory care unit. They also have a rehab unit in there. This is the county fairgrounds. That's the rodeo arena.
There's an Elvis movie on the marquee sign. We've all seen at least 3 times.
It's a small campground here at the rodeo grounds. It's right there on that field. And then as you come around this corner, there's the city park, which has a really nice playground for kids. It's got a big kid playground and then a little kid playground, as well as some basketball courts. I think there's a pickleball court in there. Picnic tables and stuff for families. But overall, this park is very nice, very well kept, especially for this area. We have very few transient and homeless in the area. Those that are extremely low income tend to reside more in camper trailers than actually being homeless. We have a lot of camper trailers parked on lots. This is the high school, and this takes up a very large plot of land on the edge of the city. And there's various different buildings here. This is going to be the ag building and welding building, and then it'll continue to pan over to the high school. The high school, the middle school, and the elementary school have recently had a bond issue passed that will allow for the opportunity to either replace or upgrade the existing structures. The high school itself is in decent shape, but does have some areas that need expanded and repaired. The middle school, I believe, is getting replaced, and the elementary school is getting replaced. These two sit on the junior high school and the high school sit on the same plot of land. The elementary school is on the other side of town. This is a town of about 2,300 people. That's one of our area churches. There's a lot of churches in this little town. And then these are some of the bigger farm plots that kind of sit right on the edge of town. They'll have houses right kind of next to each other, but they're 5-acre. Some of them are 10-acre plots. Almost all brick ranches. This is the main highway, again, Highway 84, that goes through town, looking at some of the other buildings. A lot of these are empty. We're going to kind of swing back by where the courthouse building was so that we can see a little bit of the different residential area that's part of the older original part of town. That building used to be part of a school, and then on the other end of it was an old post office. They've rebuilt a post office there during George Bush's presidency. This is a tiny home village. They house, I think there's 10 tiny homes in that little park. And then this is the older end of town, which has a little bit more of the traditional build style of homes, kind of that Tudor or farm style house. The road conditions are very poor. Once you get off the state highway, the city streets are horrible. There's poor drainage, there's really no sidewalk, curbside, ditch kind of areas. Sidewalks all have grass growing over them, or cracked or falling apart, or there's no sidewalk available at all, and then the asphalt's just degrading.
Hopping off the tractor, riding through the pasture, quitting time Friday, heard you swinging out by my way. I'm feeling lucky tonight.
A lot of the older homes are built on pier and beam, and so they start to slump and kind of degrade as the beams start to warp and rot. Then the houses will start to sag and slump. And then this asphalt road degrades all the way down to dirt, and it's really more of a single lane road. It's pretty hard to pass anybody down this road, and a lot of these side streets. This is only 2 blocks off the main highway, so things change pretty quickly. Again, really large lots in the area. This is a little tiny, mostly Mexican, truly Mexican based church. And then very common to see single wide trailers in the area right alongside houses. There aren't really any covenants or rules in this area, so pretty common to see people have more than one house. This This is the historical district. There's a museum, some of the original buildings, and the old county jail. Those can all be toured. And then this is one of the big Baptist churches. It's Cavalry Baptist. Then we're going to come up the other side of the courthouse, which will show us the sheriff's office and county jail that are kind of annexed onto the side right here. And then just another look at that main thoroughfare with a lot of these buildings. And we're going to turn kind of to the left and you'll see a few more of these original storefront buildings along this main route that are empty. A lot of these are empty. Population is aged. Most of the younger kids live out on farm plots outside of town. Thank you.
I'm driving by your house, so I know